this is perfect. This is nightmare mode. I did it. So I sent it off to a friend to have him test it and see what like the difficulty was and all of that. See if it seemed hard enough. And remember, this is nightmare mode. It needs to be really hard. Like, my goal is for 99% of people to rage quit on this because I'm just kind of mean like that. And so an hour later, he messages me and he's like, okay, I'm done. And I'm thinking, heck yeah, he rage quit already. This is perfect. And so I ask him, how far did you get before you died? And he's like, well, what do you mean? I beat it. It's way too easy. So I made it 10 times hard. I made it so Charles appears in hunting mode nearly 3 times as often. Cultists do 3 times as much damage to you and your train. Charles is even faster, and I debuffed the flamethrower so you can't slow him down as much. So I sent over another build, and I'm like, try beating this. Yeah.
No visitors allowed!
I see how it is.
So I very calmly and collectedly made Charles do twice as much damage and gave the player only 1 life. Just 1. No respawns. You die once, you're done. So after making all of those edits to the difficulty, the final change list for nightmare mode is as follows. The player has 1 life, Charles has twice as much health, Charles doesn't drop scraps when you fight him, Charles appears in hunting mode nearly 3 times as often, cultists do nearly 3 times as much damage to you and your train, Charles does twice as much damage to your train, Charles is 30% faster, the flamethrower is debuffed so you can't slow Charles down as much, and that's it. Trust me, it's difficult enough. With the difficulty now in a state where people will definitely rage quit, there's just a couple more things that are really important that need to get done. Things like adding the new soundtrack, adding translations, and a new mode selection screen. But before I do all that and actually finish up nightmare mode, I gotta bring you some long-deserved news on the Choo Choo Charles console release. For this whole year, I've been working with Warp Digital to get the game ported onto PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox Series and Xbox One, as well as Nintendo Switch. And I'm very happy to say that it is almost finally done. We're still in the process of getting the game certified on all the different platforms, and there's still a couple of other bugs to iron out, but we are really, really close. And at this point, we're pretty confident in saying that the game will be released on all the consoles this December. As soon as I have a concrete date, I'll let you guys know with another video, but I just wanted to give you a quick progress update to let you know that it's coming out really, really soon. So to finish up nightmare mode, I hit up the most epic composer to ever exist, good old Tom Bellingham. He did the soundtrack for the original Choo Choo Charles chase themes, and this dude made a full 7 tracks in like 5 days. So I got those added into the game, added the new game mode selection screen, got it all translated, and with that, nightmare mode is complete. Eugene is he's so happy about that. He's so freaking thrilled. If you already have Choo Choo Charles, this update is completely free and you can play it right now. And if you don't have Choo Choo Charles, it's actually 50% off right now, specifically for Halloween. And this is the deepest discount that I've ever done. Literally just 10 bucks. I don't plan on doing another discount this deep for a while, so this is the perfect time to pick it up if you haven't already. That's it. Subscribe. Bye. Eugene.
In this video, I will be attempting to make a horror game in under 24 hours. Horror games might be the most popular choice of genre for indie developers, probably partly due to the success they can find, even if the game is simple. And being a typical stupid dude under the age of 25, I want to be successful without actually putting any work to earn it. Henceforth, making a video game in a single day. Also, I have the attention span of a goldfish. Sir, it's your wife. She's suffering from pneumosilico-cybofornic silico-microscopic mega-hemo-mellow-hypofornic hyper-microsilico bipo-blipo-mepo-mapo-frocko-stocky-slacky-wacky-fornic-silico-stomach bug. The only thing I did before the 24-hour period was plan out what I wanted the game to be. And the game is simple. You live in a log cabin, and there's a monster in the woods that wants to eat you. He can't get inside, so he will do certain things to sabotage you, like damaging the power box, which shuts off all the lights, forcing you to come outside and fix it. But it's freezing outside, and you must stay warm. There's a fire inside, but the monster will drop snow to put it out, and you must keep it lit. And lastly, the blizzard will occasionally blow the windows open, which will not only keep you from staying warm, but will also create an entrance for the monster to climb into.
Hi, how are you?
If you survive until the morning, you win the game. Starting the clock with 24 hours left, the first thing I'm going to do is launch Unreal Engine with the first-person template, since I want this to be a first-person game. So first we need a log cabin, so let me just look through my asset packs real quick. Oh, Oh, look at that, a log cabin asset pack. It's almost like I chose the environment by looking through the asset packs I already owned. And I'm just gonna use the pre-made demonstration map because y'all know the famous proverb, Shawkat hates environmental design and also he's bad at it. Oh snap, this map has snowfall, and the door is already interactable. This game about to be a breeze. Oh, we can't fit. Let's fix up the player dimensions and chop this guy's arms off. Pulling up our list, the first thing I want to do is have the blizzard blow the windows open, since we don't even have a monster yet. Unfortunately, these window meshes are connected to the frames, making them impossible to even open, so I'll have to pull them into Blender real quick to fix it. A quick little incision here should do the trick. Another successful operation from Dr. Shawkat. In Unreal Engine, I'll use the timeline to control the rotation of the windows in lieu of traditional animation, because something simple like this, it really doesn't make a difference. Here's what it looks like in game. I haven't gotten any sound effects for the game yet, so I'm sure when I'm editing I'll spend some good money on some high quality sound effects to make sure it sounds AAA. Next, I'll use a timer to randomly open these windows every 30 to 60 seconds or so, but to close them, I'll need to create some kind of interaction system. I've made 1,000,001 interaction systems in my life, but that doesn't always mean they're simple. So I might need to stand up for this one. But, when I'm standing up, I can't seem to reach my keyboard. Or can I? Recently, FlexiSpot sent me this Ian1 mahogany motorized standing desk. You ever hear that saying, sitting is the new smoking? Come along, Billy. I don't want you catching secondhand sit. But then a standing desk also sounds unappealing because you're a lazy game developer who never exercises. You guys know the feeling. Well, then the Ian1 mahogany motorized standing desk is gonna blow your mind because it's adjustable to both sitting and standing heights. It adjusts pretty fast and quietly too, and it can definitely carry a lot of weight. Plus the machine has pre-programmable buttons that remember your preferred height so you can always get that optimal 90-degree elbow action. The instruction manual did say it requires 2 people to put together, but I'm a big boy and I managed to do it all by myself. In all honesty though, it is important to look after your health, and I would highly recommend the standing desk to anybody who has a job that requires computer work for many hours a day. It has so many health benefits like reducing joint pain, better posture, better blood circulation, and it increases your energy and mood. If you do decide to make the decision to get one of these, it'd really increase my energy and mood if you use the link in the description, because you'd get a high quality motorized standing desk with all these health benefits, and I'll get happiness knowing you made a great decision. Now that I've closed the deal with 90% of my viewers, back to closing these windows. If I make one of these extremely useful blueprint interfaces here, I can easily communicate with any object that I press E on. So if we hit E on our window, we can just make it close and reset the timer for it to get blown back open. I'm just gonna move some of these props around real quick so the windows are more accessible. Okay, now it's a lot easier to get into the position to close these, but we still need our character to freeze when the windows are open or if he goes outside. I want our freeze meter to be something cooler than just a progress bar, so let me yoink a frost texture from online and use it to create a post-process material that increases how much frost is on our screen. And after some quick box collisions to tell if we're outside or not, our screen is getting frosty on the outside and melty on the inside. That's step 4 crossed off the list. Now, you're probably thinking, well, great Canada Simulator Shawkat, but where's the monster in the thumbnail ad? I clicked on the monster in the thumbnail, I want to see a monster. Well, calm down. Whatever you saw on that thumbnail, I'm making right now. I'm thinking since we're in the woods, well, it will be the woods, our monster should be some sort of cryptid deer creature. And this is an idea I had all by myself because of my genius creative mind. Luckily I own another asset pack that includes a deer, but this little dude isn't scary. This guy is my friend.
You're my friend now. We're having soft tacos later.
Into Blender you go, friend. Luckily this deer is already rigged, so I can just use the bones to morph it into our monster. Now those proportions are nice and cryptid, but I think I can step it up a notch by giving him some teeth. I used a cat for reference, but then I made the teeth extra scrunkly to enforce that extra fear that he's never been to a dentist. And I think I can get this guy looking even creepier by giving him the old Super Mario 64 treatment. And now we've turned our sweet little friend into something of eldritch. This would look a lot scarier if it was currently nighttime.
Hi, how are you?
So just give me 1 second. Wow! I'm getting a real big Until Dawn vibe here.
It was just a prank, Han.
Best horror game ever made, I will not be taking questions. I think I'll continue on this environmental design high and add some extra landscape. There's a reason they say Shawcat hates environmental design. I just throw random crap in there because I have no idea what I'm doing. Like these trees, which I had to grab from a third marketplace asset, despite the thick forest, it's still pretty obvious to see where the terrain ends. So I think I'll approach a retro solution and just add a thick black cylinder to imply that light itself can't pass through the thick brush further on. So that's step 1 crossed off. Let's move on to 2, the power box. But there are no lights in our cabin to turn off yet, nor are there lights in the log cabin asset pack, which means I'll have to add in a 4th asset pack just to get some hanging lights into the scene. Can you tell I'm talking to my teeth? This horror hospital pack has the right kind I'm looking for. And I'll just slip those into our cabin. So, glad we're finally done importing all those high gigabyte asset packs. Now let's get a power box into our scene. I've been searching for a while and I can't find a power box, but this storage house asset pack has a generator looking thing and that'll work just fine. If I make the generator into an actor, I can add a function to disable all the lights in the cabin. I'll also toggle the emissive quality of these light bulb materials for a little bit of extra polish. But now our deer creature actually needs to attack this generator. And I think instead of spending a bunch of hard work figuring out how to make this deer hop the fence, I'm just gonna... So let's add a bunch of spawn points, spawn him randomly at one of them, and have him target the generator. Easy peasy lemon pound cake. He looks pretty goofy without animations, and I have no time to make all of them myself, so let's go to every game developer's favorite website, Mixamo. Mixamo allows you to automatically map the current rig to the Mixamo rig, and I'm shocked at how well it worked, considering this is a quadruped animal that I bent, broke, and Frankensteined into an ungodly bipedal malformation of flesh. But it does seem to make the website very laggy, so I'll download the animations real quick off camera and get back to you. Hi, welcome back. As you can see, I have gathered an idle, walking, and a stomp animation for breaking the generator. Any remaining I'll probably have to do myself, but we'll burn those bridges when we get to them. Okay, so we targets the generator, we play the animation, and right on this frame of the animation, we cut the power and he walks back into the woods. We can also repair the box really easily with that interaction system I made, except I'll make it so you have to spam me instead of just press it. So it's like trying to pull a starting cable. You gotta work for it. Alright, big problem though. If the deer doesn't have the ability to kill us, then he's no more than an annoying neighbor who commits destruction of property. I want to go for a very classic Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare where when he kills us, they get all up in your camera and bite your face off. So for this animation, I'll have to blend his face in Blender. Not too hard, I'm just gonna stretch the neck real good, shake his head a bit with a noise generator, and chomp. And if we just play the animation when we get too close to our deer, game over. Well, I also am realizing I forgot to update y'all on the time this has been taking so far, and it might not seem like a lot based on the way I edit this, but it's been about 8 hours of work, and it's getting kind of late, so I'm going to continue this in the good morning. It is now day 2, and I started late, so we have about 6 hours left in our 24-hour deadline. And you know what I'm realizing with my refreshed morning mind? This guy is not intimidating. Ever since I said he's like an annoying neighbor, that's all I can really see. When I'm playing, I just kind of want to invite him inside and work out our differences over a nice cup of tea. But I am not British, so I think instead, I'm gonna completely change how everything works, but I need to keep it simple enough to complete my game in the remaining time. So here's the new plan. Instead of an intelligent creature that sabotages you, I'm switching to a creepier, stalking predator vibe for the deer. So instead of the deer breaking the generator, it breaks down randomly because it sucks butts. Instead of the deer putting out the fire, it goes out over time and you have to collect sticks from outside to keep it lit. The deer now wanders the deep woods where he is no harm to you, but will sometimes stalk you in the nearby woods, which it will aggressively chase you if you go outside. And if a window swings open, the deer will attempt to climb into your cabin. I'm pretty sure making the generator random should be super easy because I can just reuse the randomness code I made for the windows flying open. Yeah, that was super easy, so let's fix that AI. I'll add more target points around the windows so we can come up to them when they're open. Very nice, not creepy at all.
I know.
And if we go outside when he's not in the deep woods, I'll just make him chase you until you're back inside. Okay, yeah, that's a little bit scarier than what we had before. Oh, and you know what might be good? I think I'll add some rotation to his headphone so he's always looking in your direction. Because, pro tip to horror game developers, there's nothing scarier than eye contact. People ask you what your worst fear is and you say, oh, you know, the dark, clowns, you know, alligators, but no. Think about when you go to a Starbucks and that cashier's looking you in the eye. They're like staring into your soul and they're like, what do you want? What do you want in your drink? What do you want? And you're just like, And yeah, that's AI pretty much done. It's very simple this way, other than climbing through the windows. That's going to be the hard part. And we have about 3 hours left, so let's make this fire go out real quick. I'll remove this delicious pan of stew so the player doesn't get confused about the purpose of the furnace, and we can fade the fire out over time using the same timer functionality that the windows in the generator uses, and for the visual effect, I'll just fade out the audio, the lights, scale down this fire effect, and reduce the emissive properties of the logs. Yeah! That fire is going out. So yeah, fire goes out and we start to freeze. To give the player incentive to leave the cabin, let's spawn some sticks outside. I don't have any stick models, but I'm kind of tired of importing entire asset packs just for a single model. So I'm just gonna take this pile of logs and... there we go, pile of sticks. I'll make it if we walk over one, it adds one to our character, and then we can use our interaction system on the fire. It removes a stick from our player and adds 30 seconds to the fire's lifespan. Okay, 2 hours left, and we still have to make the scariest part of the game, the deer climbing through your window. That's kind of like the part I've been excited about, but also scared about, which is why I'm procrastinating. There's nothing on mix mode that can be used, so I'm gonna have to make something pretty easy and cheap in Blender, but we don't have a lot of time, so this animation is gonna suck. Okay, if you look at it for more than a second, you can see it's a very poorly made animation, but the players will be too busy screaming their heads off to notice. Also, even though it's not great, it actually took like almost an hour to make, so we only have a little over 60 minutes left. So let me actually play this animation when it approaches the window. Oh, my window blew open. I better close it in this weather. Oh, hello, sir. You must be cold out there. Oh, excuse me, this is private property, and legally you are trespassing. I didn't show myself programming any of it because that's pretty boring to watch, but that actually took the entire remaining hour to set up. So, okay, we've completed the game. Oh, wait, I need to make it so if you survive until morning, you actually win. Okay, we've completed the game. And let me just add a death screen and purchase a bunch of sound effects. Okay, we've completed the game. But my mama did raise an honest man, so I'll have to admit, if you count the time I spent adding sound effects and stuff, I did go over the time limit by about an hour. If you want to play it, I uploaded it on itch.io, but only visit if you're ready to lose your voice out of screaming through fear. I didn't really have enough creative juices to come up with a good name, so Tyler and I went to a horror name generator, and it came up with Woodwalker. Future Aiden here. I just watched an episode of Adventure Time, and they call this tree the Wicker Devil.
When you see the Wicker Devil in Tree Afterlife, tell him Jake says hello.
And I thought that was the coolest thing ever, so I'm stealing it. This game is now called The Wicker Devil. Go download The Wicker Devil on itch.io. If this game wasn't scary enough for you, check out my other game I'm working on, Nightly Routine. You'll be frightened about the amount of work I've been putting into that game. And join the Discord.
In this video, 4 developers compete to see who can make the best game in 24 hours. The theme of